Hey folks, it's Sam, and I'm making this quick video update here to talk about the upcoming Family Vedic Astrology course. I actually postponed the date. I pushed it back a couple of weeks because I didn't realize the first date was Memorial Day, and a lot of people are, busy that weekend and stuff like that. But I just wanted to make a quick video to show you the bonuses that are available right now. 5 hours of bonus classes. These are actually worth twice the price of the course, even in that context. 5 hours of these great classes. One of them is on childhood astrology. You see, this is a 2-hour class. I taught this from the weekend course that I did on that subject, and where I did all kinds of explorations of literally childhood astrology and what we're working through in our childhood. I talked about things that you might not hear about so much, for example, like Saturn squares, Saturn cycles and squares. So I talked about important astrology houses, second house, again, how to evaluate these types of things. It was a very important part of that class. It was the second half of the first day of the course, so I really started to get down to business. Again, that's a 2-hour class, and you really, I'm explaining things like our first Saturn square, where we individuate at about 7 years old. 14 years old, like those awkward teenage years, is where we really start to individuate ourselves in response to others. Then the 21 Saturn square, we start to become like the young adult out there, college years or something. And then the first Saturn return, 28, where we feel like now we need to grow up. That's one of the things. But then again, also some of the important houses. So that's one of the bonuses. Then the second one is this class that I taught on the family karma and the planets, each of the planets. Now again, this is another hour-and-a-half class, and you can see this outline. I again go into great detail about how you learned your relationship to power. For example, like if you have power struggles, power issues, like with other people or within yourself. Again, we learn that connection to power and handling it gracefully and vision from the sun. And again, that often comes through the father or whoever the father figure was. It's usually the father. We look and see how powerful he was in that regard. And that allows us to have vision for our career and our work and the sacrifices, and to do them with dignity, things like that. The moon is where we pick up the emotional connection. We usually look to that, to our mother. I also talked about these two forms of narcissism. There's again, we often hear about male narcissism, but what about female narcissism? It's the same kind of thing. It's this world revolves around my power or my emotion, right? The sun and moon are really the archetypes of this type of this archetypal narcissism, and we all have it. We all have the potential for that. Men can also be emotional narcissists at times. We are all these things. At times, men are emotionally narcissistic. At times, women are also narcissistic in the masculine. All of us have these tendencies, right? That's one thing. And then I also talked about the siblings, which we get from Mars becoming Mercury. Again, there's an evolution of the sibling relationship from Mars to Mercury. Children and gurus and teacher relationships from Jupiter, and also the important houses. So again, this is another hour-and-a-half class. Again, this kind of stuff can change your life. It's really life-changing information, because you grow up with these relationships, and they form the basis of how you move forward or don't move forward in your life with these things. You have a relationship to power, and you mostly saw that initially with how your father was, because usually the father is the one who has the vision and the respect, and we're looking to see how much vision and forward guidance and momentum and clarity of purpose and power comes through him, right? And you learn that. You learn from the mother how much connection, how safe do I feel, how much nurturing and selfless, unconditional love do I get, and consequently, how much do you give? It's not just what you get. that's what it was when you were a child, but it's what do you give? How much of that do you give? Maybe you notice when it's not there from others, but they notice when it's not there from you as well. So your capacities with these things were first learned and programmed before you didn't decide any of that. Again, this is what our karma is on the deepest level. We didn't decide and choose that. We incarnated into that family unit, and then these were the people around us where these deep programs were, installed, you would say, if you want to use computer language. So this is some of the most important stuff you'll ever learn. How does that work? So again, that's these first two are on a very sort of general level, right? And then this last bonus class, again, it's another hour-and-a-half class, was on the royal family. Now again, maybe you don't, look, I don't care about the royal family myself, but it's a great case study because we have their charts and we can see their connections. So in this class, I basically showed the sort of system that we're going to be exploring, where I took the charts of Queen Elizabeth, Charles, his brother Andrew, his kids William and Harry. So we have this whole kind of, you would say, like nuclear family, all sort of orbiting around each other, and taking the principles that I'm going to show over the weekend and apply them to these charts. So for example, we could see when we analyze Charles and his karakas, rulers, houses, aspects to the rulers and whatnot, this is the formula. We can see his relationship to his mother, but we can also see her relationship to her kids. You can see both in each other, and you can see the perspective that one is pulling from the other. Again, because Andrew was also Queen Elizabeth's son, but he has a different relationship. He's going to see her differently because he's different, right? So again, and then they have a relationship with each other, but Andrew looks different to Charles than Charles looks to Andrew because they're different people, but it's the same principle. So we went through this case study. Now again, they're just a case study example, but you can apply this to your life, of course. And it's remarkable to see how you were patterned and how you were formed. And really, I think the benefit of this, as much as anything, is it allows us to really diffuse a lot of the drama that we also have around our family and how wrong they were or the problems we had with them or whatever it is. We're all trying to get to a place of peace around those things. And I think I'm quite sure this will really bring a lot of that sense of peace and closure and things like that into your life. This class is incredibly affordable. It's not even $50 for, again, these are just bonus classes. This is 5 hours of bonus classes. But then in a couple weekends, on June 10th and 11th, that weekend, it'll be taught in full, which is, like 5 hours each day. So then it's like, then it's another 10 hours. So this will wind up being like 15 hours of classes for, again, less than $50. And this is some of the most, again, cutting edge stuff that you can learn relative to understanding your incarnation, why you came here, what your relationship really is with all of these other people. So again, this is an announcement that the course has been delayed a couple weeks, and also an overview of the bonuses that are available. So anyway, go ahead and register for this, and you get to watch these really powerful, transformative courses now, these classes now, and then we'll see you on June 10th and 11th.